a little low on fuel. And this time of year, you know what that means. Time to start putting the highest octane in I can find to avoid ethanol. Any one fill-up could be the last one of the year at any point, so... Just like that, another season is coming to an end. It's been such a strange one. Wasn't exactly the best year weather-wise for riding, but overall just the goings-on of the summer were the main contributing factor to why miles didn't really get put on this thing, or mine, or the dirt bike, or anything. What started out as just a quick thought of, hey, what if we sold our house? Well, that quickly picked up speed. Before we knew it, we were shopping for a new one and listing ours for sale. Just a whole bunch of nonsense went on with that. Glad to say it's finally just about done with now. We're obviously all moved into our new place, and the old place is technically sold. We're just counting down the days to that closing date. At least the few miles we put on this year were pretty much trouble-free. Of course, you know, the 400 inch has been flawless. Just about to roll up to 5,000 kilometers. I guess you wouldn't expect there to be any issues with it, right? But stranger things have happened. It's funny, all this talk at the end of the year, and knowing the way that I put out videos, it's probably hitting YouTube right around, I don't know, spring. I'm probably just about ready to get this thing out for a new year at this point. One pretty cool thing we managed to do this year was to get this thing on the dyno too. I didn't get it on there when it was in bone stock form, but it did just have that Hindle slip-on when we did it, so... You know, I did some browsing on the internet, and I mean, it seems like it's putting out exactly the same as everything else does with the slip-on, and no fuel tuning or anything like that done. Still stock air filter, all that, the usual stuff. I guess just in case we decide to go ahead with an ECU flash or anything like that over the winter, it'd be nice to have that baseline run. The shop we went to plans to have another dyno day in the spring sometime, so it'd be good timing for it. Of course, if you missed it on the dyno, you can check out the link up here. So I guess as season 2 with this bike draws to an end, I can still say there's zero regrets with buying it. I'm perfectly happy with it, and Tracy just loves it. Oh, we're almost at that 5,000 mark. I think I may have to pull over and get a picture of it for her. I didn't really plan a lot of mods for this bike this year, but the only one thing we really went ahead with was the exhaust. Got the Hindle slip-on put on it. Pull over and get her a picture. So I guess, now that I'm thinking of mileage on this thing, I would say it's just about due for its next oil change too. Can't get over how fun this thing is. good mix of just small and light with just enough power to keep it interesting. I guess I can't spend all my time bragging about this one without giving the ZX-10 a little bit of credit too. After all the crap I went through with that last year, it really pulled off a good year for me this year. I think since the engine repairs, I would say I've got 6,000 or 7,000 kilometers on it, and it's been totally trouble-free since. Well, you know, besides normal wear and tear items like tires and chains, and apparently valve stems fall into that category too. 300 kilometer an hour flat tires are not much fun. I guess you could check that out too. Doing some trimming. The guy running the dyno last week seen I was running Tracy's bike, and he's like, well, you got to run the big one too. And I was like, I already know what that does. I kind of already know what this does too, but I'm more interested in this one for stuff like that right now. I guess the last bike in the garage to talk about would be the KLX. Right now, that's the big question mark for me. Like, don't get me wrong, I like that bike. It's a lot of fun. Fun in the woods. It's like a little tractor in the woods. It's great gas mileage. I commute to work on it all the time. But it's the one bike right now I'm kind of looking at and wondering if I want to sell it off to replace. So I'm really wondering now, when the 2020 videos start up in the spring, if the KLX will even still be around, or maybe it'll be for sale then. Or maybe it won't be for sale at all. I don't know. It's hard to say from day to day, right? They're definitely not going to do one of these, oh, you got to wait and see what I'm going to replace it with. No, there's none of that. It's a KTM 690 Enduro, not the Supermoto. Although, I am keeping my eyes open for some that have Supermoto setups included. They're a pretty popular bike to mount a set of street tires on. But like I said, it's hard to say how all that'll go. I tend to change my mind on things like that multiple times a day. I guess I'm at this point where I really like not owing any money on my motorcycles. And although I am considering a used KTM, I'd still prefer a later model one, and they're pricey to begin with, and they seem to hold their value, so. Lots of pumpkins. One thing I am quite sure of, though, is that if the weather holds out the way it is, I'd say Tracy's pretty well done riding for the year. It doesn't look like it's getting any warmer. So I guess the only times you're going to see this thing out is if I do like tonight and decide to get out for a quick rip after work, or who knows, the next time it's out it might be to go get some fresh fuel in it and add some stabilizer and put it to sleep. Crazy after a year with so few miles put on these bikes, and still I almost welcome putting them away for a couple months. Use the winter to just relax for a little while after a pretty hectic summer. So what are you guys planning for winter mods for your bikes? Let Let me know in the comments if you have any plans. I can't wait to see a couple of comments that say, "What's winter? I ride all year long." Surprisingly, there are people around here who ride all year long too. They just have to take, short breaks whenever there's way too much snow on the ground. At some points, the roads do get cleared enough that bikes do appear on warmer days. Guess, judging by the smelly ass black smoke coming out of this car, he spotted a bike behind him. Well, it's already getting cooler out. One more quick blast through this road and it's time to head home. This guy probably thinks he's flying like a madman. In reality, he's still just holding me up. Jeez, now I got a car behind me also. Seems like an awful lot of people like chasing bikes around this year. Man, this car stinks. Must have it planted right to the floor. I'm sure he's having a good time. He probably feels pretty good about this. And the funniest part is if he could just pull over and tell him, like, yeah, man, it's my wife's 400. Anyway, that's about the end of this. So if you stuck around this long, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, maybe drop a like on the video, ring the notification bell and all that good stuff. I'll head home and try to warm my hands up. You come back and check out the next one.